In 2016, archaeologists unearthed a mysterious human jawbone in India. It had such unusual features that scientists were forced to conclude that it belonged to an unknown species or subspecies of extinct human relative. They named this creature Homo longi, and according to some reason, it was the first member of our genus discovered since Neanderthals were found 130 years ago. Its literal translation from Sanskrit is "where the earth weeps." This place has been the source of much sadness for the thing is, they've known about it for over 100 years, but only now have they been able to figure out why. All we have are a few scattered tools and scraps of pottery, yet that may soon change. Currently, archaeologists are excavating an ancient settlement near the river Nanih. Some of them moved east and ended up in India, while others went west and eventually reached Europe. Yet the Indians weren't the only ones to arrive in India, and judging by the preliminary results, the upcoming discoveries will shed light on many aspects of the life of this lost civilization. At first, they settled mainly in the Deccan region, but later spread throughout the entire Gangetic Plain. This may sound bizarre, but if you take a look at modern Australian Aboriginal tribes, you can see that among them there are people with green, blue and red skin. It's just that previously they had darker skin tones, which made them look even more alien-like to outsiders. Some scientists believe that these immigrants were the ancestors of the indigenous Australians. That's why the last member of this subspecies was probably born no earlier than in the 1950s. And one day you stumble upon a cave where strange skeletons are lying around. It is to be believed that Neanderthals and Denisovans are the result of a hybrid between Homo sapiens and Homo erectus. This means that, in addition to Homo sapiens adulta, we have another representative of ancient aliens right here on Earth. We don't know anything about her mother, but scientists suggest that she could have been one of the giants who lived on the islands of Oceania. To prove this theory, however, we need to find more remains of Denis. Meanwhile, we have only two pieces of evidence for their existence: a finger bone and a molar. Perhaps one day we'll uncover the secrets of these enigmatic creatures, but for now, it's best to leave that to the archaeologists and genetics. If that's true, it means that the Denisovans may have been taller than modern humans and had a truly alien appearance. If scientists had announced that they'd found an alien in India, but it turned out to be an ordinary monkey, what would that make us look like? What would you do next? Probably run home and tell everyone you've seen some sort of monster. Their teeth were larger than those of modern humans, and their legs were shorter and thicker. However, the most striking feature of this subspecies was their extremely dark skin, and instead of a cave, they found a burial ground. However, modern science tells us that they're actually distant relatives of Neanderthals and Denis. These creatures also belong to the genus Homo, although some argue that they should be classified as members of the species Homo sapiens. Despite having a genetic link to extraterrestrial beings, she looked pretty much like a typical local resident. But that's only visually because, in terms of DNA, she was almost entirely composed of alien material. Unfortunately, the farmers didn't take any photos or videos. Otherwise, we wouldn't have even learned about the existence of Homo sapiens. Due to this feature, along with other physical characteristics, Homo sapiens idaltu were dubbed the Black Demon, or the Black Devil. But this wasn't a compliment. For example, how did they farm and raise livestock? What kind of rituals did they perform, and what weapons did they use? But then, just like that, the world forgot about it. Is that true? Let's go back in time. Yet this isn't the only case of an ancient relative of modern humans being discovered in India. In fact, we know of at least 3 other hominins who lived there until very recently. Today, this subspecies is known as Homo sapiens. Interestingly, some experts consider Homo sapiens idaltu to to be a distinct species, highlighting its unique physical characteristics. So why don't we hear more about these so-called ancient aliens? Let's find out. In the remote jungle valley of Nanih Waiya in India, there's a river with a rather poetic name. The reason is that the Nanih River Valley served as the cradle of one of the forgotten civilizations of the world, which flourished here around 80,000 years ago. The local population not only created advanced tools, but also engaged in agriculture. After all, it was here that their descendants lived until the 14th century, until modern humans completely displaced them, and yet we still don't know what happened to these unfortunate people. They may have been wiped out by a series of natural disasters, or perhaps they simply integrated into other local communities. There's no way to say for sure, because the history of the Nanih Waiya people is a mystery. They may have even kept livestock. These people lived here for many millennia and seemed to be doing quite well. However, the civilization suddenly vanished without a trace, leaving behind no written records or even a name by which future generations could remember its people. But maybe it's time to put that right and call this lost culture by a completely different name. There's very little archaeological evidence left from them. However, excavations may also reveal something else. According to some theories, the inhabitants of the Nanih Waiya Valley weren't just ordinary people, but direct descendants of ancient aliens. About 40,000 years ago, scientists believe that a group of primitive humans migrated from Africa to the Arabian Peninsula and then spread across Eurasia. Starting from 75,000 years ago, some people began to return to the subcontinent from the Middle East. As a result, the Indians and the newcomers interbred, and over time, a new type of human emerged, one that combined the traits of both ancient populations. Homo sapiens adultus stood between 152 and 165 centimeters tall, had a large cranial capacity and a massive brow ridge. Scientists have concluded that these people likely had red or even green skin. Furthermore, Homo sapiens adultus weren't exactly until the mid-20th century. Some of them lived in the remote jungles of India. Now imagine that you're a poor Indian farmer. You work in the fields from dawn till dusk to grow food for yourself and your family. And that's exactly what happened to the locals. But instead of skeletons, they found Homo sapiens. As a result, for decades, these people were regarded as nothing more than local bogeymen. What's common among them is that all these ancient relatives of humans interbred with each other. And no, I'm not talking about Bigfoot. Instead, I mean the mysterious Denisovan woman who lived on the island of New Guinea as recently as 4,000 years ago. The thing is, the Denisovan woman was the daughter of an ordinary man and a mysterious creature with extraterrestrial origins, and yet they managed to live among us until relatively recently. After all, there's no need to turn every minor discovery into a sensational headline. Just think about it.